Okay. Right, so Bismillah, we are focusing on grammar today, on infinitives and gerunds. So this word is pronounced as, oh, not that word, not that page. Yeah, gerund. Now, has anybody ever heard of these two before this?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what do you know about them? Anybody? A lot of people have heard about them, but what do you know? Okay, let's take a look at the example first. Maybe this can jog your memory. So first we have to infinitive and infinitive without to. Example there we have, I've decided to get a new goldfish. Do you want to come to the pet shop with me? So contoh infinitive adalah yang dia boldkan itulah, of course. Next one, remind me to go to the supermarket to buy some milk. Will you? Edna doesn't know which hat to wear. We should all do something to save endangered species. It's too hot to go out for a walk right now. And will you help me to clean out the rabbit cage? So what do you see here that all these words in bold, what do they have in common? Apa persamaan semua perkataan ni?
Two.
They have to.
Yeah, most of them, they have to followed by
Root word.
the root word, the verb in the root word, yeah? Verb in root word. I'll just write there, RW. So verb in root word, in English, this is what we call an infinitive. Jadi dia punya kataan technical dia, it is an infinitive. So that is the bahasa yang tak berapa technicalnya, we just say it is the root word. And sometimes we have to, sometimes we don't have to, like the last example here, will you help me clean out the rabbit cage? So the question is, bila kita nak letak to ataupun bila kita nak guna the infinitive without to here. If you look at the sentences here, there is actually a pattern. Do you see the pattern? I've decided to get a new goldfish. Do you want to come to the pet shop with me? Next one, remind me to go. What do you see there?
Two verb.
There are two verbs, right? So in the first sentence, the first verb is?
Get.
No, this is actually the second one. The first verb is?
Decided.
Decided, yes. So I decided and then to get. After here, do you? This is verb one. Want to come. So as you can see here, whenever we have two verbs, that is the very basic example of it. When you have two verbs, the second one will have to and will be in the root word. Okay? And sometimes even more than two. So the next one, remind, this is verb number one, to go verb number two, and then there's another, to buy. Okay, understand everybody?
Yes.
Right. Sometimes we also use infinitive without to with like the next example, we should, this one, we should all do. Now there is no to here and everybody knows why. Sebab apa? Walaupun dia infinitive, dia root word, but there's no to because what do you see before it? Is a, what is this called? Remember? Should. It's a modal, yeah? Modal, things like will, can, so all these words akan jadi infinitive in the root word too. And sometimes there is no to, and for this, there is no real explanation. You just have to know with some words, like help, for example, you don't need to use to. Yeah, so help is a good example. Will you help me clean? Help me clean, help me go. Okay, so that is infinitive without to and with to. And the next one we are going to look at is what we call gerunds. Gerunds are verbs which we put ing to it, tapi dia bukan present continuous. Because usually when we talk about ing, biasanya present continuous, sebelum dia kamu akan nampak apa? Kalau present continuous tense.
Are,
Is.
Yes, we have be verbs, right? Are, is, am. But these words that we call gerunds, dia tak ada be verb sebelum dia. And that is because they no longer become verbs. And actually, infinitives too, they are not counted as verb. Tapi I don't want to get too technical with you. Itu mungkin satu benda yang bila kamu dah pergi, if you take English later and you want to learn more about grammar, and you will see apa beza dia. But I'll just tell you that here, working is not a verb. It might be surprising, but it is not a verb there. Now here it becomes a noun. Working, bekerja. So dia bukan perbuatan, dia satu idea. It is an idea, working. It's the same thing as when you're saying studying. Studying is my passion. It's not a verb here, it is a noun. Studying tu adalah satu idea, satu perkara, satu benda. Alright, so let's take a look here. What patterns can you see bila kita nak guna gerund ni, bila verb tambah ing? Working at the zoo can be a very tiring job. Will you stop talking with your mouth full? It's disgusting. How about grabbing a bite to eat later? And my parents are thinking of buying a house by the seaside. So from these examples, what can you see? When do we use gerunds?
after a verb.
After a verb? Okay, so that is a one after a verb. What about example number one? There is no verb before it. Here is the same as the sentence that I gave you as well as example. Studying is my passion.
Because the word in at the front.
Yes, okay, that's an easy way to put it. When you put it in the front, biasanya kan ayat kita akan ada subject, verb, object. So subject adalah noun. So when you put it in the beginning, it becomes a subject, it becomes a noun, so you have to put ing. Jadi cara senangnya nak ingat, bila kamu letak perkataan tu, verb tu dekat awal ayat, kena tambah ing. Playing football is my hobby. Eating is my favorite thing to do. Things like that. Okay? Clear? That's the first one. If you start a sentence with a verb, dia akan jadi gerund. Dia akan jadi noun. Tambah ing. Okay, number 2, 3, 4. This one, somebody said earlier. Apa dia? When you have?
A verb.
A verb. Okay, but it is not just any verb. So there are very specific verbs that you use that you put a gerund after it. So here are some examples. Verbs like talk, stop, and other words are like start talking. So these verbs, sebab kita tengok tadi dalam infinitive, kalau kita ada dua verb, kita kena tambah to kan. So kalau stop ni, it is one of the verbs that we go straight away, kita boleh guna gerund. Tapi bukan semua verb boleh jadi macam ni ya. There are a lot, and kalau nak hafal memang ada banyak. So the easiest way to get to know them is through exposure to English. Sama ada kamu dengar ataupun kamu baca, lama-lama kamu akan dapat tahu je, okay, verb ni kalau kita guna, lepas dia kita pakai gerund, tambah ing. Verb ni kita kena tambah to. Verb ni tak ada to sebelum dia. So lebih banyak kamu baca, lebih banyak bahasa Inggeris kamu terima, sama ada baca ke, dengar ke, tengok, the easier it will be for you to know. Kalau nak hafal, memang tak terhafal, I'll tell you. Okay, number 3, we have words like this, about. There is no other verb before it. Tak ada. How is not a verb. About is not a verb. But words like that, also kita akan tambah ing, gerund. And words like, it is not because of the verb thinking, tapi of ni. Bila ada of pun dia akan jadi ing. And a lot of other words. I'm going to share with you a note later of words that have gerunds after it. So I'm just going to share this in your group because it is a lot, and we won't have enough time to explain everything. So it is better if you read it on your own. Okay, so we are going to do this exercise. Please do this in your book, and I want you to discuss with your friends whether you use gerunds, whether you use infinitive, tak letak tu ke tak letak tu, and then we'll discuss afterwards. Okay, so I'll be putting you into breakout rooms, so please discuss with your friends. Three, four, one, two, three, four.
I'm
Yes,
just
Wazir.
already woke up.
All right. We are talking about grammar on page 99, Wazir. As you go to your groups, I will also give you a link to read. So please look at these notes first and discuss it together, and then you may do the exercise, everybody.
Okay, sir.
Okay, everybody please check. Have you got the link in Telegram?
Yes.
All right. So read through that. That's very informative, and it's not that long. And if you have any questions, you can, after you come back, you can ask me about the notes. And also do this exercise. All right, you may go now. Okay, it looks like group 4 is back here. Have you all finished? Any questions?
No, sir.
Right. Let's just wait for everybody to be here before we discuss. Okay, so almost everybody is back here. Let us discuss the answers. Anybody would like to volunteer to share the answers for this exercise? Anyone?
Me, sir.
Yes, Iza.
Roger was happy to see his friends after the holidays.
Correct. To see. Okay. Here we use to see sebab kita ada adjective there. Happy to see. Iza, next.
My brother's angry at me. I promised to help him with a project, but
Alright.
in the
Yep.
but in the end I couldn't make it and forgot to call home, say I would be late.
Call home to say. Okay, semua ni to ya. All of these you cannot use gerunds. Number 3.
I don't mind staying alone at home during the day, but I can't stand being alone in the house at night.
Right.
What would you like me to do after I have finished feeding the animals?
Right. Okay. Finish feeding. So finish is one of the words that you need to put a gerund after it. Finish, start.
There's
5.
no point there's no point in running for the bus. It has already left.
Running because of in.
Faye thinks she must losing some weight, so she's considering to go on a diet.
Okay. Now there is one error here. What is it? Is it losing or to go?
To go, I think.
To go. Everybody else, what do you think about number 6?
Using to lose.
Right, right. Why is that? Because must ya, model mesti root word. Okay. So root word ataupun dalam bahasa teknikal yang kita belajar hari ini, infinitive without to. Okay, continue.
The authorities made all the people learning the scene of the accident.
Oh, that's actually leave, does not learn.
Okay, sorry, sir.
So leaving. Alright, so this one is also incorrect. Can anybody else share their answer here? To leave. So to leave. This is also incorrect. The correct answer is leave. No to. Made is one of the verbs that if you use it, the verb after it becomes infinitive. Made me go, contohnya. He made me go to school. Okay, everybody?
Yes, sir.
All right, any questions on infinitives and gerunds before we move on to the next term? Nope. So these things can be quite confusing if you are not used to it. And English, as I would say, sebenarnya more so than grammar, it is just being used to the type of words to use. Biasakan diri sahaja. Belajar grammar macam ni dia membantu sebenarnya, tapi when it comes to writing, kadang-kadang bila kamu nak tulis atau bila kamu nak cakap, sebenarnya kamu tak sempat nak fikir pun, oh, ni ada dua verb, lepas tu kena ada ing. So this helps, especially in writing, bila kita nak check semula. Tapi kalau nak fikir on the spot, it is very hard to do. But we learn it anyways because in the long run, it is going to help, inshallah. Okay, next we're going to look at page 101. Another grammar point that we did here is exclamatory sentences. Exclamatory, ayat yang menunjukkan exclamation. Exclamation mark, tanda seru. Ataupun kat sini kita nak tunjuk takjub. Okay, so the first structure that we are going to look at is we use how. How ni biasa maksud apa?
Bagaimana?
Yeah, bagaimana? It is a question, right? But if we use it with an adjective or an adverb, adjective kata sifat, adverb is kata sifat untuk kata kerja. It shows exclamation ataupun perasaan takjub. So example there we look at the sentence, how colorful these fish are. So here how does not mean bagaimana lagi. Kalau bahasa Melayu dia akan jadi alangkah. How colorful these fish are. Alangkah warna-warninya ikan-ikan ni. How well you swim. Alangkah baiknya, alangkah bagusnya. Ataupun sebenarnya kalau kita cakap dalam bahasa perbualan kita tak sebut alangkah pun kan. Sebut pandainya kamu berenang. Colorfulnya ikan ni. So dia macam tu. So understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Right. So you don't actually translate the word how there. It is not a question anymore. But you do because it's an exclamatory sentence. Bila kamu gunakan dia, kamu kena letak tanda seru kat hujung tu. So that's one. Use how with adjective and adverb. Next, we also use another question, which is what. And we use a ataupun an article, an adjective, and a noun. So panjang sikit formula ni. But if we look at the next sentence, you can see it. What? Actually, tertinggal kat sini. What a lovely adjective, scenery, noun. What a lovely scenery. Cantiknya pemandangan ni. What a lovely scenery. And next is to use so, an adjective or adverb. This one is very common. I don't need to explain it too much. When you just say it's so beautiful, it's so pretty, so these things. And the last one is to use such, an adjective and a noun. Okay, for example, that this is such an exciting trip. Bentuk yang biasa pelajar akan guna is this. You would say it is similar to this. This is a really exciting trip. Alright, semua orang biasa guna bentuk ayat ni. This is a really exciting trip. But you can actually replace it. A really ni kepada such an exciting ataupun such a. This is such a good thing to do. This is a really good thing to do. So these are just more ways to say things which you already know how to say. So it gives you variety in your sentences. Kepelbagaian sikit ayat. All right, so before we do the exercise, are you clear? Any questions you would like to ask? Untuk hayat ke? No? Okay, so these are fairly simple. I think we can do this on our own. 1, 2, and 3. So let's do it. And if you do have any questions, you may ask straight away. Please raise your hands after you have finished this exercise. Class, I forgot.
Sir,
Yeah.
can such boleh ke Sasha dekat depan?
Boleh?
In front of the sentence.
Yes, you can. One more thing. Dengan N again. Dengan N ni, kamu nampak ada bracket. Because if it is plural, you don't use or N. Or if it's uncountable.
Sir,
Yes.
kalau such tu ada dekat depan, kena letak dengan N juga.
Tengok dia punya noun depan tu. Singular or plural. Kalau singular ada plural. Ada.
So,
Yes, Iza.
is how has the same function as what?
Yes, it is similar, but if you look there, you need to have a noun if you want to use what. Whereas if how, there is no noun there.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Okay, we only have 5 people who have finished, but we are quickly running out of time. I hope everybody else is doing this and just not finished, bukannya hilang entah ke mana-mana. Let's hear it from Murshid. Murshid, can you speak, Murshid? Murshid. Okay. Huda?
Yes.
Okay, can you please share your answers with us, Huda?
Okay.
Great.
We spent all day on the boat looking for dolphins, but never saw any. It was so annoying.
It was so annoying.
I saw one from the ship as we were traveling to the island. How lucky you are. They are such an amazing creatures.
Alright, so here kita tak letak N ya, because creatures banyak kat situ. So they are such amazing creatures. Okay, continue.
It's such a nice day today. Why don't we go for a walk in the woods? What a great idea.
What a great idea.
I went swimming in the river yesterday, but it was so cold.
So cold.
How silly of you. The weather was horrible. You will catch a cold.
Right.
You will catch a cold.
Right. So these are all the correct answers. Well done, Huda. Okay, let's just take a look at one more thing here. Kalau kita nak kata bestnya hari ni, pleasant day, which word should we use? Is it how or what?
What?
Yes, correct. So, what a pleasant day. And finally, have any of you heard or read the fairy tale, The Little Red Riding Hood? Pernah tak?
Yes, I think.
So if you read that storybook, you will find a lot of exclamatory sentences. My grandma, what big teeth you have. What long ears you have. Okay, so yes, read some fairy tales is my advice to you. And I'm being serious actually. You don't have to read very complicated novels to improve your English. You can just read very, very simple things, and those help you as well. And do not underestimate children's books. Even in children's books, there are lots of good vocabulary and grammatical structure that you can learn. Okay. And because you're at home, you can just use the internet to find resources. You don't even need to go out and spend money to buy books. All that you need is the willingness, keinginan, dan kehendak to study and improve. All right, so with that, we will end our lesson today. Thank you very much, everybody, for attending today. I hope you have learned today about, what is it? What did we learn first? Tak ingat dah. Infinitives and gerunds, and also using exclamatory sentences. Okay, that is all. Thank you very much. I'll see you soon. Bye. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.